Did you know that California is home to the smallest mountain range in the entire world? These are the Sutter Buttes, the focus of day 17 of Mountain Month, the series where I talk about your favorite mountains every single day of October. California as a state has some really interesting geography, as it's bounded by the Coast Ranges to the west and the Sierra Nevada to the east, while the middle of the state is dominated by the long, extremely flat Central Valley. But if you look closely, you'll see that the Central Valley isn't completely flat, as this little dot up here is the Sutter Buttes. Now, the Sutter Buttes are often referred to as the smallest mountain range in the world, and in fairness, they are quite small. They form a rough circle roughly 10 miles in diameter, and the highest point, South Butte, shown here, rises to an elevation of 2,122 feet. This elevation obviously doesn't sound impressive in a vacuum, but because the surrounding Central Valley has an elevation of less than 100 feet above sea level, the Sutter Buttes actually have over 2,000 feet of topographic relief. Add in the fact that the surrounding topography is also incredibly flat, and the Sutter Buttes actually dominate the skyline of the region despite being objectively small. But how did this small group of peaks end up in the middle of the otherwise completely flat Central Valley in the first place? Well, the Sutter Buttes are actually the remnants of an ancient volcano. Roughly 1.6 million years ago, magma intruded up into the thick layers of sediment in the valley and started a series of explosive eruptions. These eruptions then continued intermittently for the next roughly 2 million years, forming the core of the buttes that we see today. Then, over the last 1.4 million years since the last eruption, erosion from rain, running water, and wind has shaped the topography into the mountain range that we see today. But while we know the Sutter Buttes are volcanic in nature, we aren't entirely sure why they formed when and where they did. One theory proposes that they're actually the southernmost volcano in the Cascade Range, while another suggests that they're more closely related to the California Coast Range. While the buttes don't line up geographically with either range, the age and the type of the rocks suggest that they're more closely related to the volcanoes in the California Coast Range. So clearly the Sutter Buttes are a pretty cool geologic feature, but are they really the smallest mountain range in the entire world? It depends on who you ask. There really isn't a set definition for what constitutes a mountain range, so I'm sure some people will tell you that the Sutter Buttes are too small to be considered a mountain range, while others will say that there are plenty of smaller ranges out there in the world. In the end, this claim that the Sutter Buttes are the smallest mountain range in the world is probably just some leftover advertising technique from the past that stuck around, and it's not really based in any sort of